All right, everyone. We're going live in three, two, one, action. Good evening, everyone. How you doing? This is Paulo Presoto with another Tamo Junto SF. Tamo Junto SF is a community media outlet that has the goal of bringing people together during the quarantine. We're all locked up and we need outlets, as you may see. My special guest tonight is a very dear friend of mine. We go way back, and I've witnessed her musical evolution throughout the years. I would like to play this very first tune for you so you start recognizing Renay Asteria. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a good quarantine.
Can't deny, want you inside.
This is Pure Love by Renay
Hypnotize me, I
Asteria.
compromise. Close my eyes to your own lies. Risk my love, wasted my life, but it's the last time. I'll wait, however long it takes for love, your love, real love, true love, your love. However long it takes, I'll wait for love, your love, real love, your love. Loving every piece of me you never even seen. I'm a beautiful, beautiful machine. Now I fully see my worth. I fulfill my purpose on this earth. I'm a plant, a little seed. I watch and wait, appreciate. I know it's never too late. I'll wait, however long it takes for love, your love, real love, true love, your love. However long it takes, I'll wait for love, your love, real love, your love. I watch and wait, appreciate. I know it's never too late. I'll wait, however long it takes for love, your love, real love, true love, your love. However long it takes, I'll wait for love, your love, real love, your love. Love, real, pure love, pure, real love. I know it's never too late.
I know it's never too late. That's why we're doing this, because there's always a way around it. And I'm pretty sure you're reinventing yourself right now. Well, without further ado, I would like to present you to our special guest of the night. Here it is, herself, Renay Asteria. How are you?
Good, Paolo. It's such a pleasure to see you. It's been so years, you know?
Yep, I
Here
do
we
know.
meet again over this video.
Yep, this new situation, right? And I would like to thank you for being available for this. I want to point to everyone, the special guest. My daughter is down here. She's like vibrating, and she promised me she's going to be quiet throughout the whole show. So that's going to be amazing. I would like to also remind everyone that this show would not be possible without the support of Brazil Bass Magazine right up here, your source for information in the Brazilian community in the Bay Area. Please visit brazilbass.com. Our friend Celso Brás tá firme lá e forte. Para todo mundo no Brasil, muito boa noite. Obrigado por estar com a gente. Estamos aqui com Renay Asteria. Renay, how you doing? How's your quarantine going?
You know, it's personally, I'm actually kind of enjoying it. I mean, I don't, I mean, just myself, my life, I have no complaints. I mean, I'm safe. I live in El Sobrante in the middle of the hills. I have a beautiful forest around me, and it's, you know, I, I can't complain. It's more
Blessings. Yeah.
heavy, for other people, and I more worry about all the vulnerable populations, all the people in the medical field, all the people that don't have a house,
Yeah.
um, but I mean, I can't say I'm no, I mean,
And
no
I
complaints,
totally
man.
get
I'm
it. I totally
so
get it.
blessed.
And you know who else is here with us right now? Denise Wales. And I would like
Oh,
to personally thank you for connecting with Denise and giving her the donations. And for
oh,
you out there, se você está nesse momento acompanhando a Denise is doing a great job of going around the bay, driving around, fully protected to get donations and direct those donations for people that need it. So big shout out to Denise there.
yeah, thank you so much. She came all the way to my house, and I don't know how she found it because I live up this steep
Oh,
hill.
no.
She found it.
Eu sou Brunton there. And let me jump right into the music because
Sure, sure, yeah.
that's the big reason why we do this show anyways. Uh, I met you back in 2005.
Was it
And
5 or was it 4?
5 or 4,
5
right
or 4, yeah.
there. Yeah, at the
I didn't
maybe at the end
remember.
of 4, beginning of 5. And we met in Berkeley. At that time, you were doing your master's, public health and
Infectious diseases. Ha, ha.
infectious diseases. To go even beyond. So tonight we have a specialist, guys.
No, no, no.
And you were singing backups for Pacific Vibrations.
Yep.
And big shout out to Pacific Vibrations for all those years. And we connected on the beginning of your solo career. You were starting what now is Rasteria Records. So you have your own record label. You were an independent producer, singer, songwriter. Tell us a little bit of the obstacles of that beginning and how Rasteria Records started representing your work and the evolution of your music.
Sure. Well, to start, I just threw myself into it without having any idea what I was getting into. I was like, oh, I mean, I've been a songwriter since I was 12, and during my master's, I just started recording at a local studio and hired musicians to work with me and produced my first album in 2005. I forget what the studio was, but it was actually to tape, which was
Wow, so the
it's a,
tape.
yeah. But so I did everything. That was actually the first and the only time that I actually did everything in a studio. And since then I've acquired a lot of the skill set to do things on my own because it's expensive. And then also I've had a few experiences where well, it's all a learning lesson, where you get involved with musicians, producers, engineers that may want more money or more rights than they should. And I'm very amenable to collaborating with people and giving rights, but not everybody is as
Oh yeah.
transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I had that combined with just the need to create as much as possible. I just progressively acquired first the ability to record myself and instruments, and then the ability now where I produce everything in the box, well, a lot of things in the box, which is I use I use virtual instruments complemented by live instruments. I'm no virtuoso musician myself. I have enough basis in music theory, and I play enough instruments. I play rhythm guitar, some keys, some bass. I have a good sense of rhythm.
And you got an amazing voice. What are you talking about? It's
Well,
a
okay, it's interesting because actually that's part of the journey. It's like I always sort of took that for granted because it's like, oh, it just comes so naturally, and I ended up kind of pushing that always to the side and always focusing on the music and the musicians and getting that right. And now it's kind of coming full circle because because I'm doing everything now from A to Z. I can do everything from A to Z myself. I am really much more focusing on the voice as the lead and bringing everything around the voice. Like a song should be able to stand on its own as a cappella, and everything else is supporting that song essentially.
Absolutely, yeah, and the
um
lyrics and the idea, and
exactly, yeah, yeah.
let me throw some history context here. Um, you're a super multicultural person, as you know, most in the Bay Area, and we've been talking to a lot of different artists here. I talked to Will Maggot, that's mixing Balkan and electronic. I talked to some other folks about this interesting mix of cultures in the Bay Area. Let me. I got a raised hand here. Let
I
me see
know.
what
I
that is.
see. She's so cute.
Ah, hora de comer? Okay. Well, it may be dinner time for her. So, se
Okay,
você quiser comer, pode comer depois você volta, okay? All right. So she is
she'll be back.
dismissed for dinner. Yeah.
Okay, bon
Say
appetit.
say ciao. Fala ciao. Fala ciao, galera.
Ciao.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice to
Woohoo.
meet you.
Yeah. All right. And then you were you are American, born in the East Coast, but then raised kind of in France, went to college in Canada, has
You remember all that.
Latino background, uh, and you do write in French, English, and Spanish. I'm pretty sure se eu começar a falar português aqui, você vai
Eu
entender
quero,
tudo.
pero eu não falo português. Eu entendo um pouquinho, assim.
Legal, yeah, mas isso aí. And I remember your first record had a lot of like world music influences.
Second one, actually, that's the second one that
Oh
you're.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Mhm.
that's the one I want to throw a little sample to folks
Sure, sure.
and play this song called Vinchuca. Tell us a little bit
A
about
little.
Vinchuca and
Okay,
about
sure.
your world music
Uh-huh.
venture right there.
Sure, sure. Well, my dad's Bolivian. I actually got my Bolivian passport last year, so
Yeah, congrats.
I finally got that. And I've been obviously. I have a strong connection with Bolivia as well as other countries. And Vinchuca was written in 2006 in Argentina when I was a research assistant for this project studying Chagas disease. And Chagas disease is a disease transmitted by a parasite. Transmitted by an insect that carries a parasite that gives this disease called Chagas disease. And that parasite is a vinchuca. In English, it's known as a kissing bug or assassin bug. And so I was basically going into the field. I did basically one field survey, and I went with a team, and we would interview people. And this is in Santiago del Estero, which is in the north arid region of Argentina. And what they were trying to do is detect risk zones. And so they'd go to individual households and they would interview people and ask them about different characteristics. Had they seen han visto vinchuca? Had they seen the vinchuca, la negra o la rubita? Those are the two species. One transmits, one doesn't. ¿De qué está hecho tu techo? What is your roof made out of? So you'll hear the song, and it's basically the survey.
Nice.
that
That's a great inspiration right there.
I had a cuatro with me, and so somebody on the team was like, why don't you write a song? Why don't you, because we had to repeat that thing over and over and over and over again. And and this song came out of it, and I've since rewritten it a bunch of times. I mean, reproduced a bunch of times, but the one you're going to play was produced with Matias Martin in Argentina after I finished my internship with the University of Buenos Aires. And I ended up staying on and living in Argentina for a little while and just kind of throwing myself in the reggae scene, which was just starting there. So it was kind of like an open door, and this was one of the songs that came out of it. And I think it just really, it's fun, but it's really informative. And
No, for Brazilians, that's big time. Doença de Chagas in
mhm,
Brazil, it's like big time because up north, we have a lot of those houses of pau a pique that's made of mud and
right.
bamboos. And that's
Mhm.
exactly where the
Where they live.
Vinchuca wants to go. All
Right,
right, let's
exactly.
hear it then.
Okay.
Renay Asteria, Vinchuca. Tamo junto. Simbora. Hey, what happened there? Hey, Vinchuca. Or for whatever reason, I just have a little piece of the song. Why?
Oh, really? You want me to send it to you?
Oh no. Let me see Mosquito.
Oh yeah, mosquito, another one about dengue fever.
Also, I just have a little sample. I don't know exactly what it is, but I just have a little sample of every one of those songs.
Oh, okay.
That's so crazy. You want to send me an email with Vinchuca real quick, and then we'll get this going.
Yeah, you know, I can actually, you could probably just go to asteriarecords.bandcamp.com. You know what,
If you want to send me a link, we can do
sure.
that. Mm.
I'll send that to you. I'll send that to you right now.
Yeah, and meanwhile,
We probably should have like tested all of these.
you know, we did test it, but for a few
Yeah,
seconds,
I know.
and it was like, yeah, no, it's totally fine. Atenção você, amigo do Brasil. Estamos com dificuldades técnicas, mas não vamos deixar a bola cair. Vamos ver quem que tá conosco aqui na internet. Carla Lisboa, oi Carla, tudo bem? Lilian Puga tá aqui com a gente todo dia. O Reinaldo Vitamina. Para a galera do Brasil, eu gostaria de mandar um super abraço e um grande beijo. Lembrando a todos que Brasil Best Magazine é a sua fonte de informações aqui na Bay Area para você curtir de montão e saber o que está rolando. Eu vou mandar, a Renê tá mandando aqui o link no Facebook Messenger for me. And we're going to be able to listen to Vinchuca right now.
So I'm just going to send it actually in the chat. Here, let me see.
Oh, no, it has to be on my phone. So,
oh, it has to be
yeah,
on your phone. Oh, okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Olha, Carla aí. Matt Gallagher. Matt Gallagher is here with us as well. He's been such a nice part of the Brazilian community. He used to come to the Elbow Room to see Francelino, the accordion player. I get to see so many of these folks that I haven't seen in years, and that's what's super fun about this show. Without further ado, Vinchuca. Where are you, baby? Come to me.
Andisto Vinchuca.
Brings back so much memories.
Negra la rubita, negra la rubita, Andisto Vinchuca. Que chupan la sangre, negra la rubita, negra la rubita, Oh, 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 asesino escondido. Negra la rubita, que chupan la sangre, chupan sangre. Oh, oh, oh. ¿De qué está hecho tu techo? A patapoleo, a patapoleo. Refugio para el asesino. Negra la rubita, que que chupan la sangre, chupan, chupan sangre. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Gallina, cerdo, cabra, caballo, ¿dónde duermen tus caballos? Sangre para el asesino. Pinchuca. Asesino escondido. Asesino escondido, 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 escondido. Negra la rubita, que chupan la sangre, han visto vinchuca. Oh, oh, oh. ¿De qué está hecho techo? Pataleo, pataleo. Wow, 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 wow. Gallina, cerdo, cabra, caballo, ¿dónde duermen caballo? Wow, sangre para el asesino. Que chupan la sangre, chupan, chupan sangre.
Vinchuca. Vinchuca, el asesino escondido. Uh, this particular song talks to the whole Latin America, and from folks in Brazil with their houses of pau a pique all the way to the Argentinian border, and that has a lot to do with your professional and academic uh, uh, formation at the time, right? So you went to Berkeley for infectious diseases, and that's when we had that passage through Oakland, and then you kind of traveled before the Argentinian trip. You went to live in an indigenous tribe in Venezuela. How was that? Share a little bit of that with our folks here. Oh, hold on one sec. Sorry.
Oh,
Here we
sure.
go.
Oh, you am I okay, cool. Awesome. So actually I went to Caracas. I wasn't in an indigenous tribe, but I
Oh
went
yeah.
to it's Barrio 23 de Enero. Basically, once I finished my master's in 2006, I just wanted to go to the field and work, and I signed up to do this project that was through UC Berkeley and the University of Caracas, and it was studying the impact of Chavez's Misión Barrio Adentro. And so my job was I just went and I had a neighborhood. It was an ethnography. So I had a neighborhood and I would go to this neighborhood, Barrio 23 de Enero, and I basically would just interview people about their experience with the different social programs and on all sides of the spectrum. And I did open-ended interviews, and I did, took pictures and just documented as much as I could and tried to get as deep as possible into the community. And it was very, very interesting. I mean, Venezuela, I am so sad because it's just I can't even, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, it's
But
hard to even start, and we just hope that in this particular time down there things are being treated seriously, because
yeah,
that's another thing that has happened throughout this pandemic, and something that we need to in a way revisit all the time. Up here in America, even though our commander in chief might not be, the best example of behavior and leadership. Uh, we do have governors in place, and we do
Hmm.
have a general consciousness of the population
Yeah.
that it's time to stay home and wait
Yeah.
for what's next, which is not the case down in South America. In Brazil, the president is asking people to go to work. Like
Yeah.
that's how bad things are. So our prayers
Yeah.
to them. So you did quite a bit of activism yourself, working with a lot of different causes. I remember I've been in your email chain for years now, and I really admire the work you do, bringing lights to all those causes. And you using Rusteria Records and your music, you were getting that out, and your first 2 3 records were a reflex of that, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, but I've been noticing, because I know you, that your sound is changing, and your musical expression is going to a direction that is, I'm not going to say completely different, but it's a whole new universe with the sound that you're producing now. um, how was that transition for you? What time you felt like, okay, I've been, maybe I built this character of the activist, of the strong female front lady of a project that is lyrics, consciousness, and activism. And now I want to explore more self-expression. I want to use my body to talk, and the reflexes that we'll see in your new music.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess you could I the way that I visualize it, and this is also why I've taken on a new artist name and I've sort of rebranded in a sense, is recognizing certain economic realities in the world as well as having an appreciation for mainstream music, because I think I tended to reject mainstream music for silly reasons because I never really listened to much. And then
Yep.
I started listening and I was like, because ultimately if I want to be, an artist that, where I can really, these messages that you're talking about, I mean, there's just so much to do, so much that artists can do. And yes, there is something to be said about the process and about what has been done so far. I don't want to say that success necessarily is measured in numbers, or dollars, right? But I do have, um, this fuzzy dream that's out there that I think I can do a lot more, and I have an awareness, and I have resources, different types of resources, from my skill set to just being able to make things happen. And the reason I'm making this detour is because I want to explain why I've decided to go in a more mainstream direction. It's first of all, I've never tried it, right? So I've been trying all different styles. I've been trying also putting the producer hat and producing other people and collaborating and bringing other artists up. And the thing is, the more successful I am as an artist and as a functioning record label where I can actually generate economic activity, the more people I can support, and I can start a foundation, and I can do so much more. Right now, I've always been simultaneously working, so I need to, which is fine. I'm still learning, and my skill set is growing in different fields, and I'm very appreciative that I still have all these opportunities to do work. Um, but so this pursuit of a more polished mainstream sound is one, an experiment. Let me see what I can do in this, in working with a more mainstream sound, and also just with a very hyper focused purpose of trying to get something licensed, trying to get a theme song on a TV series, in a
Right.
film,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's where the money's at.
Yeah.
And
That's the
I
market
have to
there for
think,
sure.
about making what's called sync ready music. And so actually in 2018 is where I really made the transition. I went to this academy called Create Music Academy in West Hollywood. It's kind of like a boot camp for commercial music production.
Right.
And it's a 2.5 month long full-time course. It's really, really good, and I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to up their, who's self-taught, and who wants to, or for anybody really. It's for all levels, but for me, I found it very beneficial because I've been a self-taught producer, engineer, songwriter for all this time. And then I went there and I realized, oh my God, so that's how you use compression. Oh, that's how you're supposed, like, oh, and this is actually these structures, these song structures, they're not just simple formulas that have no brain. It's actually really complex. And even trying to make something simple and to get a musical idea across that many people can enjoy is it's a constant questioning. And so you're challenging everything that you write from, and every musical element that you add and every lyric that you add, it all has it's quite calculated. So you might
Absolutely. Yeah.
so you might think that there's some sort of
Well,
inspiration
and
that's
that's
lost.
there's a debate there because even though I agree there is a formula, and there is a formula to be learned in order to dive into the business, there's also your unique self and the addition of that to the product.
Right.
So yeah, let's not forget and take it away from that, because that's big part of it. Absolutely. And I do want to give some visuals and also some sound context to this conversation we're having. So I'm going to go ahead and play the first video I have here, which is the video of I Want to Share. Let me go right ahead. Oh, actually, no. Let's flip the script here. I want to play Inspire Me first. That has visually for me is very impacting because I love contemporary dancing. And then we'll come back and talk about the production of Inspire Me. If you're out there right now, please get ready for this. This is Renay Asteria, Inspire Me.
I sit in the sun and write a song for you. I know you may not like it, but it's for you. You're my muse. You're my muse. Alright, anything I choose. You inspire me. I immortalize. You inspire me. I immortalize. I sit in the song I write. Immerse myself in you. You're always out of my reach. Will never be true. I have nothing to lose. I imagine anything I choose. Devour me. But I immortalize my soul in time. Inspire me. I devote my life. Inspire me. Inspire me. Devote my life. I devote my life. And here I must admit, I'm totally obsessed. There's nothing else to do but give my blood, devour me. But I immortalize my soul in time. Inspire me. I devote my life.
All right. So let's talk about
Sorry.
that for a
I've only
second.
seen that like 10 times. I mean, only. That's not
That
so much,
you
I
know,
guess.
and but on top of seeing
Every
it
time I
10
see it, I'm like,
times,
whoa.
you produced it, so it's always very cool to just like revisit and watch that. So tell me the story behind this video. First, let's talk video production here.
Videos
Where'd you
production.
shoot
Okay.
that?
So I shot this in Berlin, and it was a whirlwind. We shot this in one day, one 14-hour marathon day. I had 6 costume changes. The choreography was developed by I. This is the first time I've ever done a choreography in my life. I met with
Looks nice.
the twins. They're 2 twins. It's Berit Freusland and Anna Freusland. They're 2 um, contemporary artists, dance artists. So basically, let me just back up a second. So I started collaborating with a photographer in Switzerland this summer, and he referred me to the director Emery Mirza, who has who of Afterthought Media, and we co-produced this with him. And so he together we had a whole team of people to make this happen.
No, I'm
Um,
sure the video looks like there was at least 25 people in the set there. You know,
there there wasn't 25, but there was 15.
nice,
Including the talent. There was
nice. Yeah.
yeah, between 12 and 15. I But yeah, I mean, I'd never experienced something of this scale before. It's the first time, and it really allowed me to actually to just focus on being an artist, which was it was one of the first times I'd ever been able to do that. So, but anyway, but the production side of things, it actually happened sort of magically. There wasn't a lot of time to prepare. We actually, the choreography, I met and practiced, and we came up with some ideas how, because they had their choreography between themselves, and then we had to figure out, okay, how do I integrate myself into that? And then so we came up with some simple moves that we would then rotate in 4 planes, and basically so that we could repeat that over and over again, so they could take it with the camera angles from the top. That we it was all calculated, but it was, a simple choreography that we came up with literally in 20 minutes. it's
Yeah,
and,
that's how dancers do, right? They get this thing going. And
oh
now
my god.
yeah,
But
let's chat music for a minute on the
sure, yeah.
on that end. Inspire Me. Is this like the lyrics and the idea? Is it post your workshops trying to be more mainstream, or is that
So actually, it's a rewrite of a song I already released under the title "To Immortalize," which actually has a different video for it, which is on the YouTube channel. But so it's it's not a remix because it's basically a rewrite of it, although the melodies are
and
basically the
arrangements are
same.
completely new? Because
Yeah, the
I
arrangements are.
remember the song
Mhm.
that you're actually talking about.
To Immortalize, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so but music wise, so I actually co-produced this with a 2 LA based producers, and this was the first time, again, like this production was a series of firsts for me. I'd never.
Nice, getting
Yeah. I
getting your hands on fresh. Nice.
so I have to shout out B-Town Music, Joe Pepe and Zach Burke. We did this actually remotely, and they're amazing. They're just amazing. They're amazing people to work with. And I guess because I'm also, I'm a producer, so the communication was very fluid. And I don't know what to, basically I sent them stems. They sent me, a mix. I send my feedback, a mix obviously with new instrumentation, and not so much arrangement. The arrangement, actually, this one kind of stayed the same, but just they flipped it on its head, like the music base.
Right.
um
They,
like
they
if you
they
hear
did make it
To
sound kind
Immortalize.
of LA, yeah. Have to say.
If you hear the To Immortalize, you kind of see where it started from.
Right.
um and kind of, it does have kind of a dark sort of gritty sound already to it, but they first of all, they made it super minimalist, which allowed, I think, the strength of the yeah, of the theme of the melodies to just
Yeah,
soar.
the lyrics really pop
So
out with the minimalistic arrangement for sure.
yeah.
And another thing I want to just jump right into, it's that there is a full record of this new evolution of Renay. Now Renay, Renay, and the name of this album is Pure
Love.
Love, correct?
Hmm.
And then when was it released?
It was released a month and a half ago,
Month and a half ago. So
February 21st.
you
Yeah.
released, and then when you were starting to promote, we all got locked up in our
Yes,
rooms, right?
exactly.
All
I
right,
was
so
supposed to do a one show at the Emporium, and March 14th, and
right,
they
got
shut
canceled.
everything down.
Let's talk about promoting the record, and also where do you see live music going
Oh God,
after
yeah, I know.
coronavirus? I want to share another video from this album, which is called "Wanna Share," and then when we come back, we'll talk about "Wanna Share" and what are we gonna do with our lives. All right, here it comes. Ba-da-da, bada-bing, bada-boom, and
Nighttime, I see you in my visions. You in my mind's eye. I keep on keeping to my purpose. You will not pass me by. Someday we'll be together. Whenever, wherever, whenever. I'm patient. I wanna share all the good times, even all of the strife. Share my body and mind, nothing to hide. I wanna I wanna Sunrise, I'm hyper focused. Natural rhythm of my life. You will not go unnoticed. I will never compromise. One day we'll be together. Whenever, wherever, whenever. I'm patient. I wanna share all the good times, even all of the strife. Every part of my life, every part of me. Share my body and
That's another great one, and so happy you're just expressing and you're allowing yourself to go there and showing to inspire you inspire me to take a new look of all the the crisis between musicians and mainstream music because the concern you brought that a lot of musicians have some sort of like with the mainstream. It's really time for us to revisit that and utilize the tools we have in order to talk to more people in the world. Let me talk to this young girl here because she's been
Okay.
calling me for a minute. What's going on?
Hum, agora é hora para nós de comer, porque também você.
Ah, é?
Você e eu também
Ó, eu
precisa
só vou
comer.
comer às 9 horas. Agora são 8h45. Você pode ir lá, tá bom? Obrigado, meu.
Tchau, tchau.
Ciao. Okay,
Ciao.
so the dinner is waiting for me.
Ah.
That's what it is. And so when did you feel the courage to say, okay, that's it? Besides the financial aspects of it, which I totally respect, and and
Yeah.
speaking of financial, guys, I'm unemployed. I'm seriously unemployed because I promote shows, and on top, I'm a
Oh
production
man.
manager, and I'm a stagehand, and I'm a sound person, and I'm out of work. So I have my donation Venmo handle right there. If you want to give me money, I want the money. So feel free to give your donation at Brasilectro right there up on top. I'm going to put it right here also. And also, please remember to patronize our sponsor. Brazil Bass Media is the source that you have for information within the Brazilian community. Big shout out to Celso Braz. Speaking of patronizing and all that good stuff, first, the courage, but then the drive, Rasteria Records, and all your material.
Okay. Well, so first, just in terms of where this departure started was when I didn't get into um, my PhD program for the second time in
That's a good excuse.
2016. And I decided to quit my job at at UCSF because I just realized not that, you know, I mean, getting your foot in the door at UCSF as a researcher is, people think I'm crazy. Um, but I
I
just
think you're
felt it was
passionate.
if I felt it was sucking my soul. I love the doctors that I worked for, don't get me wrong, and the projects that I worked for, I think they're very important, but there's something about, how to say, working on something that is not necessarily allowing you to be fully yourself. I mean, honestly, and without having that ability to go and do my PhD and actually run my own projects, I would be eternally in the position of an assistant. And I'm a good assistant, don't get me wrong. I love doing that stuff. But it felt as if that was a turning point. And so I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm still young enough. I have my health. I'm inspired. Let me try. I'm free. I'm single. I don't have little kids. Maybe I will one day, but my life would have been different had I, had those other circumstances happen in my life, which they haven't. And it's just, they haven't happened, and it's, I have no regrets whatsoever. And so I'm like, I have the opportunity to just try. And so that's what I did. And it took a while to quit. It took like a year, but then I went to, I just started producing as much as possible. I went to this school, and then
But
I've
that
just been producing.
also allowed you to fully dive into the art that you're doing, right? You
Mhm.
were not able to commit and to do the same amount of work if you were still a
You know,
researcher at UCSF, correct?
that is, yes. If I were doing my PhD right now, I most likely would have not made the last 2 years of music that I've made. But maybe I would have made something different. So I don't want to say that, I feel like time itself, you create time. it's not a question of having enough time, because when you think about it, sometimes you're inspired and you make a song in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Other times it takes you a month
Yeah, true that.
to write something good, right? So honestly, I think I would have made it work out no matter what. Um, but it did allow me to make a drastic move. Like it allowed me to change things, I think, quicker than I would have been able to had I been working still at UCSF or enrolled in a PhD program. Um,
And at this time, well, you were a researcher, so you were not necessarily on the front, but you met a lot of the doctors that are active at the UCSF. Look at this, my phone, at the UCSF front, and just diving a bit more into the pandemic and this new situation we have to adapt to. Uh, what do you say to the medical workers out there and the people that are doing the research and on the front of trying to find a scientific solution to what we're living?
I mean, I don't know how much I can say to them, other than thank you. I mean, I also feel it's interesting because I've had the urge to use my skill set in this time, and I've been looking for opportunities to use my skill set for this purpose. And what I think is beneficial that's coming out of this for the research world is this timely exchange of information, which was a problem that I had while I was working, because you work on something and it takes 2 years to release the information. And so in this case, like, we have an unprecedented exchange of data, of knowledge. We have, although we have all these articles that are now being basically pre-released, even though they're not published, it's clear that they're not published. So it's not like they're final. We shouldn't, we should take it with a grain of salt, essentially. But this is an unprecedented collaboration. And I think also people's awareness of what public health is and what the word epidemiology means is heightened. And so
Yeah,
there's a new
absolutely.
appreciation. And I think that, I think that that's a good thing. And hopefully, we'll be able to restructure our priorities as a society around protecting people and listening more to public health, and not trying to band-aid solutions by, basically try to resolve them when something's already happened. I mean, our whole system in this country especially is all pushed towards sending people to the hospital when it's almost too late. And you can see that with this epidemic. um, it's like the last resort. It's like somebody gets sick and it's like, okay, well, stay home until you're really bad and then go to the ER. How efficient is
Yeah,
that? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. No,
it's
and that's, yeah,
dangerous.
absolutely.
My brother's an ER nurse,
Oh
and
my.
my dad is actually taking, my dad's older. He's a doctor. He's taking up more shifts. My brother's in Florida. My dad's in New Jersey. Um, I think they're okay, but yeah,
But there is a concern
I don't
because seriously, it's not
it's
it's not easy, and I would like to thank you for sharing all of that with us. Uh, People, you're just meeting Renay Asteria here at Tamo Junto. She's not only a pop star but a researcher. It's like. It's really amazing to blend these two words, two worlds, and to have that right here in the Bay Area. So it's really a pleasure and an honor for me to have you. I'd like to
no,
thank
honors
you
all mine.
one more time. We're getting close to our time. It's now 8:53. I want to play one more song from the new record, Pure Love, and just like have you guys look at the new character Renay is putting out in the world.
Oh, can
What?
I say one thing though that I
Yes,
forgot? I
please.
forgot to do a shout out for MJ Rose, who was actually, she's the feature artist on Pure Love, the first track that was played today, and she's out of Barranquilla, Colombia, and you should look her up. I just wanted to give a shout out. She is wonderful. So
Please do
MJ Rose.
add in the comments all the links,
Okay.
everything you want to
Yeah,
put out there. Would like
I
to
will.
remind everyone that this show will be tomorrow morning in my YouTube channel, YouTube, Paulo Prezotto there. You'll find not only this episode, but all the other ones and the future ones. All right, I'm going to play this ride, and then on our way back, we'll revisit our Corona lesson of the week and say bye to our beautiful audience that's been here with us all night. Here we go.
Come on, join me on this ride. We may lose our minds. It's gonna be alright. It feels right. It was just yesterday, but a year has passed and I ache to see your face. Pick up where we were last, but you don't feel the same, and it drives me insane. There's no one to blame. Are you afraid of my intensity? But nothing happens which wasn't meant to be. Don't fear me, I am softer than I appear to be. Come on, join me on this ride. We may lose our minds. It's gonna be alright. It feels right. It feels right. We're so high. Each night I lay awake, my body burning on the verge of something, an unknown space, a never-ending peace. I hope your heart beats. I feel it close to me in my dreams. If I die before I wake, I have lived with no regret, and I cherish each moment. Come on, join me on this ride. We may lose our minds. It's gonna be alright. It feels right. It feels right. It feels right. We're so high on this ride. It feels right.
I'm just
This
reading those
ride
comments.
feels just right. Renee, this was great. I would like to
Oh
thank you one more
yeah,
time.
my pleasure,
Um,
man. Thank you.
we've been asking our guests this question, and you've already shared a lot of knowledge, insider in the research, the medical research world, also in the music business. Thanks for definitely putting that shout out to everyone that's been running after this dream and that has a lot to absorb. Uh, we've been asking to our folks here, what lesson has coronavirus taught you this particular week?
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Oof, this particular week or from the beginning?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, today, example.
This particular week. Okay. This particular week.
because there are many lessons out there. It's like,
I know it's, I mean, honestly, I don't know if I can say for this. I feel like the weeks have blended into the months. The days have blended into the weeks, have blended into the months. Um, and I mean, for me, it's what I have been becoming more and more aware of is just priorities and keeping in touch with the people you love, and even if it's just a phone call or a little message, and sending, thinking about them, sending energy their way, especially if they're on the front line. um, but just, yeah, and also being aware that every little message that maybe once before you might have ignored or something, because you're like, okay, I'll take care of it at some other point, that, to answer it if you can. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of more aware of, I don't know, the preciousness of every moment, um I don't know. It's
that's right. That's right on. I've been listening to a lot of especially artists, because I do relate mostly with people in the field of arts and entertainment these days. And of course it is a field populated by folks that are more on this side of the spectrum. But we're feeling this big uh it's just it's a big feeling of hope. It's a feeling of renovation, a
Mhm,
feeling that everyone had a wake up call, and we're finally getting back to each other.
mhm,
And on top of getting back to each other, we're getting back to ourselves. And using some of that time, a lot of people have told me, man, it's been it's been time to dive into myself. It's been time to revisit the interior me. It's been time to rediscover satisfaction within rather than out there. So I think that's pretty
mhm.
much it. We're vibing on the same vibe, as we're vibing on the same vibe of everyone online here. I would like to thank everyone for being with us tonight. uh, I see Kathy, I see Alex Kilgore, she's been participating on comments here. Solasberg is coming here and chatting with us. Dave Renell, always. Everyone, this is Tamo Junto SF. This is a hybrid show, usually in Portuguese, my native language, but we also do in Spanish, in English, en français. C'est la vie, mon amour.
Ah, tu parles français maintenant?
On parle un petit peu français parce que ma petite fille est française.
Ah oui, elle est française.
Ça, c'est vrai, c'est vrai.
Wow.
Ah, t'aurais été...
Wow.
Ça, c'est très
Elle
belle.
est fière.
Oui. Anyways, so we're pretty happy to have Renay here. Thank you
I'm very
so
happy to
much.
be here.
I will be leaving our beautiful audience here with another one of your tunes, and then I will be seeing everyone tomorrow, 8 p.m. in California, midnight in Brazil, or wherever you are. Come back here and share your thoughts and hopes with us, because this is what this all about. Tamo junto. Obrigado, Renê.
Thank you.
Beijão. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
All right. We're going to listen to one more tune here from Renee, and then I'm going to go have dinner. How about
Bon
that?
appétit.
Thank you very much. This is Life is Crazy. That's from the early
Early.
days. Ciao, Renee. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
It's crazy, beautiful. Live and love yourselves. Appreciate and cherish moments in
Goodbye, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.